a barrel roll.
Welcome to the Now. I'm Ashley.
I'm Adam.
I'm Gus.
Man, 2017 has been a wild year of new consoles. We got the Xbox One X and the Switch, and they both surpassed expectations. But also, this was a year that saw the rise of some crazy new trends like microtransactions in AAA games and continued proliferation of live services. And also there were some really great games, so it's not all bad.
The next trip around the sun will no doubt be just as eventful for video games as a whole, so we thought we'd dust off our fortune-telling outfits and start making some predictions on 2018 based on current gaming trends and some ongoing stories.
Where are your fortune-telling outfits? Did you forget?
Where's my crystal ball?
It got lost in the mail. First up, the discussion of microtransactions, loot boxes, and games as a service has dominated the fall's biggest AAA releases. So much in the last couple of months, it's hard to remember that anything else went down in 2017.
It really has dominated the conversation. It feels like this has been our lives forever now. So naturally, we're going to be talking a little bit about what this might mean for 2018. Now, so far, we've seen microtransactions infiltrate just about every major release of the holiday season, including single-player games like Shadow of War. But, of course, some of the biggest offenders were games like NBA 2K18, Forza 7, Star Wars Battlefront 2, games that kind of prey on the mainstream audience.
Gamers have made their ire known about these tactics, but given how lucrative they are, this is probably going to be an ongoing story into 2018 and beyond.
Unless they get legislated.
Yeah, true.
The big question is, will we start to see the industry curb its worst impulses, or do publishers start to figure out things for the better?
You would hope that they would do it for themselves. But if you make that much money on them, I mean, what I think we might be able to hope for is some best practices.
Yes.
Where they work out well, they aren't overly invasive, they don't change the game balance and so on. I think that a lot of publishers took the wrong lesson from Overwatch, where what they saw was, hey, we can put these loot boxes in full-price AAA games, and Bob's your uncle put more money, and neglected the details of what made Overwatch work.
Well, hopefully they took good lessons from what Battlefront 2 did wrong, and they'll see exactly how much the consumer has power in these situations with their wallet.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, and there are also developers now coming out way ahead of their games releases saying there are no loot boxes whatsoever. Obsidian announced that they're not doing loot boxes for their next RPG. So that's, we are starting to see some steps in like a course correction, at least with some of the smaller developers.
Until we hear, no loot boxes, just cash cubes. I mean, that's the big fear, right?
Right.
Is that we're just going to pivot and it's be like, oh no, this isn't loot boxes. We have this new mechanic to exploit.
A rose by any other name.
In an ideal world, it's no loot boxes, and if they have to have microtransactions, make them cosmetic and not have any effect on gameplay whatsoever.
Just ask yourself, what would Overwatch do?
WWOD.
Oh, WWOWD.
Right.
Wowed.
Wowed. I think there are a couple games we should probably keep a close eye on. That's Anthem, the game that killed Mass Effect. Red Dead Redemption 2, mostly because it is Rockstar. They've got microtransactions in GTA Online, and Take-Two has said they want to more heavily implement loot boxes or microtransactions in the future.
Of course they do.
I think Red Dead, I'm so excited for that game, but I'm going to keep an eye on that for sure.
Yeah.
And hopefully we won't end up with like Kingdom Hearts where you can get different blades early or something via loot box.
Or like the Star Wars route where you can unlock different characters via loot box.
Right.
Like now, all the many beloved Fox characters that we have, that Disney has access to. One of the other hottest stories of 2017 has been the momentum of the Nintendo Switch.
It's been doing crazy.
It's a great system.
Momentum isn't big enough of a word, I think. People were pretty excited about the prospects of a console handheld hybrid when Nintendo first announced it and unveiled it. Almost nobody could have predicted what happened in the months since its launch.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo, they've managed to not only have a really strong launch with what amounts to an unusual console, because everyone's used to, here's my handheld, here's my home console, and a lot of people were skeptical about combining the two, but they managed to not only overcome that to have a really strong launch, but get some really heavy hitting regular releases too. They started off really strong with Breath of the Wild, which is taking tons of Game of the Years. Then they followed it with Mario Kart 8, and then Splatoon 2, which is great, and I feel like more people should play that one. There was Mario plus Rabbids, which took me by surprise. It was way better than it has any business being.
Amazing game. That's great.
You know, Super Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. They even got Skyrim on there. So they're not only getting the new games, they're getting the old ones. But I think the big question now is, can they keep that up in 2018?
Well, I think they've kind of also started to surprise us a bit late in the year with their Doom port.
Yeah, that was like a bit of a mic drop moment for Bethesda, being like, yes, Wolfenstein's coming. Yes, Doom is coming.
And I think that, you know, we see that they're more open to what might be considered more mature games that you wouldn't typically associate with a Nintendo platform. So I think you know, we may see some more surprises like that if Doom and Wolfenstein do well on the platform.
We saw they're continuing their support of Bayonetta. They're releasing Bayonetta 1 and 2 as a package, and then they're also coming out with a third Bayonetta. And Bayonetta is an amazing game. It's one of my favorite series.
Hey, Adam, how do you feel about Bayonetta?
So good. It's so good. It's one of the. It's probably one of my favorite character action games.
I think if they get a couple of their really key franchises in 2018, it'll just absolutely steamroll everything. If they were to get a Pokemon on Switch in 2018, I think that would almost single-handedly manage to sell the 30 million units they want to sell next year. 30 million is really ambitious.
Yeah, what else could do that?
China. Launching the Switch in China, which is their plan. I don't know, I can't remember if off the top of my head if it's 2018 that they're planning on launching it, but they are planning on releasing it in China, and that would move so many numbers. And they've already been working in China to release some of their GameCube titles on NVIDIA Shield TV. So they're also getting that audience like primed and ready for Nintendo franchises.
And I think the Switch has been successful enough that we'll probably start to see a pivot in Nintendo's marketing strategy where they will start de-emphasizing 3DS and stop giving as much focus to it. Because I can see why they played it safe initially. They weren't sure if the Switch would take off, if it'd be a successful handheld replacement, but it seems like it has been getting that momentum.
It has been.
You know, I think we'll start to see Nintendo switching developer and marketing support over to the Switch away from the 3DS, which could also, again, help amplify it.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that the 3DS actually sold more units in 2017 than 2016. Which, like for a handheld as old as it is absolutely nuts. But Nintendo did their study, too, of how people use the Switch and found that if people use it in just one mode, it's probably handheld mode.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why they're also adjusting their estimates upwards, is they think with people treating it like a handheld, it will sell like a handheld.
Yeah.
But 3DS is going to have to give way.
There's also
a
little bit of a price discrepancy between the two. The Switch is going to have to give a little bit there.
It's not the biggest price discrepancy, especially for the quality jump you're making, though.
It's a price discrepancy. That's all that matters.
It makes a difference if people are buying it for their kids.
Totally.
Right. A parent doesn't care about the quality of game that their kid's getting.
Totally.
Right. They want to tick the box. They want their kid playing something. They want them playing something they trust.
Right.
And typically, parents trust Nintendo. We'll see if that continues with the Dooms and the Wolfensteins and everything.
And the Bayonetta.
And the Bayonetta. But hey, Bayonetta's worked out just fine so far.
Yeah.
Now that the Xbox One X is out, it seems like we've settled into what could be the twilight years of the current generation.
Oh, it's all downhill from here.
What?
We've got loads of titles to look forward to in 2018 and 2019, but now gamers can't help but wonder what's coming next.
There have already been rumblings that Microsoft is already working on the follow-up to the Xbox One X. Whether that will start a new generation for them or continue iterating on this one is anybody's guess, with some pretty solid hints that Sony is well in development on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it sounds like it's crazy to discuss it this far out, but there is a serious possibility we'll start to get something more official about the next generation of consoles in 2018, or at the very least that more details will start leaking like they did for PS4 and Xbox One.
I don't think it's crazy timing. These consoles have been out now for, 4 years?
We did get spoiled.
Seems super short.
Well, it is, but we also got spoiled, I think, with the last generation being extra long.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of us, because that's where we've spent a large period of our recent gaming time, where we sort of got that built up as the standard. Traditionally, console life cycles aren't super long. If they make it to 6 years, that's pretty good.
I think the original Xbox might have been 4 years.
Yo,
before
yeah, that one
they had the
they
360
realized
out.
they needed to iterate that pretty quick.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, you know, obviously internally Microsoft's working on another Xbox or whatever they're going to do. Sony's already working on the next one, and I'm sure they're already prototyping or figuring out roadmaps for the one beyond that. You know, it'd be foolish to think that they're only focused on what's immediately in front of them, you know, when there's so much opportunity for market growth.
Yeah, and that R&D takes time. It's just if we're going to hear about it next year. I think we'll start getting some sort of teases, hints, leaks about what might be coming. Look how long we knew the general idea of what the NX that became the Switch was going to be. You know, I mean, there were some details that were off, like those weird little Joy-Cons with a screen on them because of that Nintendo patent. But overall, there was a lot in those leaks that was very accurate. So we'll see. But speaking of momentum, maybe the biggest surprise of 2017 was none other than PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and that came out of almost nowhere back in March, and then it just became the biggest selling title of the year. There were more than 22 million in sales and counting between the PC and the Xbox One release, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. It topped the Steam concurrent players. Its test server is in the top 10 Steam games. I mean, it's been so long since anything unseated Valve's own games on Steam. And since it did it, it's just gone higher and higher and higher.
I play the test server for this game, and even at my height of World of Warcraft addiction, I never played PTR in World of Warcraft. But in Battlegrounds, I have the test server installed, and I play it.
God. I mean, that is bringing in its fair share of copycats. It's already been emulated in games like GTA Online, and more notably Fortnite, which people are starting to play. People like that.
Well, it turns out that Fortnite's really changed momentum thanks to their free Battle Royale.
Fortnite's player count has shown that PUBG's crown isn't exactly a foregone conclusion in the Battle Royale genre. It's possible we're only one AAA franchise away from someone bringing in a worthy challenger.
So bring on the copycats. How many are we going to see? Is it like every platform?
Oh, I wonder if this is going to be the new Horde mode, where you're going to get a lot of games that do other stuff, just adding in a Battle Royale mode. You know, I think we're going to see it I know Ubisoft has been looking at it. They've mentioned looking into it for some of their stuff. You know, they've got some stuff that's similar to it with The Division already, but maybe amping that up. And I think that we'll see a lot of games just added in as one bit.
You also have games that are making their just straight up Battle Royale games, like Darwin Project was announced. I am excited to see other games take a different approach to it. Like Fortnite is kind of doing that with a more cartoony approach, but I'd like to see
and
something...
also, Fortnite's got a building aspect that PUBG doesn't have, so it does have its own twist on it.
Well, PUBG builds terror and sweat and palpitations.
Stress. I would like to see like different genres thrown into the mix with the Battle Royale format, like a barbarian or a fantasy, you know, Battle Royale would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Skins. You want skins on your Battle Royale?
No, I want axes instead of guns. And spells instead of snipers, you know?
Yeah, I'm on board. I'd be down with the fantasy one. I think that'd be a lot of fun. You know, but then there are also some other weird ripoffs. There's a VR one that launched on Steam Early Access. I don't even remember the name because its logo looks almost exactly like the PUBG logo. And it bills itself. It's like almost the same tagline and everything. It's just in VR.
It's crazy how pervasive this game has become, where I get banner ads all the time for like, help get the most out of your CPU for PUBG, or free up all your extra RAM for better performance in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Like it's just in other, like this shit doesn't matter. It's like people trying to sell third-party gimmicky applications to soup up PC performance for this game. I mean, that's how pervasive it is. Where it's like even part of other people's marketing. It's not even official, right? It's like these people are just like, oh, Battlegrounds, that's popular.
You know, you get to a point where everyone just wants to get in on that momentum and try and get out of it what they can. You know, and that happens better for some than others. Fortnite clearly nailed it. They managed to get to console before PUBG did. They made it free to play and completely turned their own game around as a result. I'd love to know what their conversion of getting people into that and then into actually buying Fortnite loot boxes, what that looks like.
Well, I think we're at a pivotal moment for PUBG. You know, they've just launched on Xbox One. They're officially hitting 1.0 on PC this right now at the end of December. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're pre-filming this. Spoiler alert.
I didn't want to spoil it there, but so I mean, this is when they have to figure out how they're going to monetize. You know, they've said that eventually there's going to be, you know, cosmetic loot boxes in the game. How's that going to go? Are they going to continue to build? Are they going to really fix the issues on the Xbox version? This is a make or break moment. As big as they are, this is make or break, I think, for PUBG.
Yeah.
As is the case every single year of gaming, 2017 was occasionally marred by the news of unfortunate game delays and sometimes outright cancellations or straight up no shows.
Yeah, there were some sad ones. I mean, this year there were delays like Red Dead Redemption 2, which got delayed into next year. Crackdown 3 got delayed into 2018. Sea of Thieves.
Was Sea of Thieves really delayed, or did it just finally get a release date and it was further away than we thought?
You know, I'm not sure on that one.
I think it might have just been further away.
It's not that big of a wait,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty okay with it. But there are a lot of big question marks hanging over some of next year's anticipated titles as well.
Plus, there are games and franchises we haven't heard from in forever that we're still hoping to hear about next year. But there's a chance we still might not. So what other games will be no-shows in 2018? I'll tell you what's definitely a no-show.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts.
Scalebound is a freaking no-show because they canceled it.
I know.
That's talking about disappointments.
And
You know what else is a no-show? StarCraft Ghost. Are we just going to start listing canceled games here?
Well,
Talking about disappointments. That's this year disappointment. Come on.
Scalebound, yeah, it was January.
I can't believe that was this year. That seems
Yeah.
like that was forever ago to me.
Mental.
Was that January?
Well, it's January, February. Yeah,
I thought that
really
was
early
last
in the
year.
Oh, geez. All right.
That's crazy to
No.
me.
I don't think we're gonna see Final Fantasy VII remake anytime soon.
Oh God, no. Do you think we'll
let's
see a trailer maybe?
That's a long shot. Maybe at the end of the year we'll get a pre-rendered
I feel like
teaser.
we're going to have a press release saying that they're still hard at work on it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's it.
Shenmue 3.
Oh God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that are just sort of like hanging. Oh, do you think Star Citizen's gonna be done?
No.
God, no. It just went into Alpha 3.0, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, which is
Don't worry,
more of a
someday
game
they'll
than
hit
nothing.
beta.
So I think by 2019, early 2019, we may see the game.
The full game?
Yeah.
You're off your rocker, dude. That's a 2021 game or something like that. It's never coming out.
The game's coming out eventually, I swear.
Okay, when do you think Death Stranding is actually coming?
I think
think-
2020.
I think so. Hideo Kojima had some tweets. I think it was over the weekend, celebrating. Of course, I read way too much into Kojima tweets.
2-year anniversary of
Yeah,
Kojima
she said it was
Productions.
the 2-year anniversary of Kojima Productions, and they were at the midway point through Death Stranding.
Oh,
Okay,
midway,
so you're
okay.
thinking 2019.
Right, so I think holiday 2019 we'll see Death Stranding.
I would assume they'd take like 5 or 6 years to make that game, but I'll take 2019.
Do you think? When do you think we're going to see Last of Us 2?
I think we'll see it end of next year.
You
I think
think?
end of 2018.
I'm all about it.
Because they announced it at, was it the Game Awards 2016?
Oh yeah.
So I can't imagine that they would make you wait more than 2 years for that game to come out.
Yeah. What about Anthem?
God, that's.
I feel like that one's going to be a ways off still.
I feel like that one's
2019.
going to get pushed to next generation.
I feel like if they want the game to be good, they're going to need to take their time because no one's ready to give BioWare the benefit of the doubt this time.
I think so. It's funny you say you're thinking it's next generation. In my mind, I was picturing this almost like a Destiny, where it's going to be a kind of game that bridges the generations. 'Cause remember, the first
Sure,
Destiny came
I
out
can
current
definitely
and next.
picture that.
So I could
But-
see Anthem doing the same
Yeah.
thing.
I can imagine that holding the game back though a little bit.
Right.
Okay, do we think we haven't mentioned anything Nintendo related? Pokemon. What do you think the chances are?
No, it's not coming out in
No?
2018.
They just all they've said so far is that they are making one, and that's all they've
Yes.
said. There's nothing else.
Same with Metroid Prime 4 though. They've said
We
they're
at least
working on
saw
it.
a 4.
Yeah, we saw
Yeah, we
the
saw
logo.
something.
They didn't even have.
Once the logo's done, the game's pretty much ready.
Well, didn't Anthony Carboni said that was like 90% of the work? Was,
Oh yeah,
was the logo?
got to get the cool logo, and then everything else is just bonus, really. So I would love to see either of those. I would also love to see an Animal Crossing. I'm not actually sure that we'll
Yeah.
get one. I like to think so because we did just get Animal Crossing Mobile, and so far that's been the crystal ball for the big franchises coming from Nintendo. But they haven't said anything yet, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm just hoping for a 2018 Animal Crossing Switch release without
I'm right there hoping with
without
you, but
any substance.
I don't think it's going to happen.
All right, so that about does it for our predictions for 2018. So you can come back in down 12 months, figure out what we were right or wrong about, or you don't have to wait that long. You can just let us know what you think we're wrong about now.
What do you guys think about our predictions about the next year of gaming? Let us know in the comments.
And for all of 2018's biggest video game news, be sure to like this video. And if you're new around here, subscribe to the know.